Hey, this is Casey Smagala, and this is our first ever FifthStar segment. We all know that the Chicago flag has 4 stars that stand for really important parts in our city's history. But as I'm running for alderman, I respect and appreciate our history because it got us here. But there's a bright future ahead of us, and I think a lot of that comes from artists, I think a lot of that comes from entrepreneurs, and it comes from everyday people in Chicago doing extraordinary things. And that's why we're in a basement here in Mayfair in Jim Bacor's studio.
Studio.
Oh yeah, excuse me. Yeah. It happens to be this basement, but it's a studio.
Yes, totally.
And so we're just going to talk with him a lot about your work and what got you started into. Well, first off, tell us the type of work that you do and the type of art that you do.
I do what I call contemporary ancient technique mosaics. So it's a art form that's been around for thousands of years, but I've been trying to pull it kicking and screaming into the 21st century with unusual subject matter that you wouldn't expect in this art form.
Yeah. And how did the pothole mosaic specifically start? What was the process to get you to being in the middle of a street, feeling like something that everybody hates with art?
Right. The short story is I really got into mosaics because of the durability.
Okay.
The idea that you could make something that in theory could last thousands of years kind of blew me away. You fast forward, so I've been doing it, had been doing it for a number of years, and in 2013 there was a particularly bad pothole season, and potholes.
Only in 2013.
Yes, only it got much better after that. You know, the whole pothole thing is like a unsolvable problem. It's like they're fixed, and then that's a temporary fix for a period of time, and then it has to be fixed again. And so I kind of mashed that idea of this problem that never really gets fixed permanently, and fixed it with an art form that is so durable that it had a better chance of being a more permanent fix.
Yeah.
And there happened to be a stubborn pothole in front of our house here in the northwest side that just refused to stay fixed, and I kind of put 2 and 2 together. And I'm like, I'm going to make a little piece of pothole art and install it one night, and that's how it all started.
And then how did it go? How did it expand from there? Because you've done work, as I learned before this, in other countries as well.
Yeah. It expanded kind of reluctantly because I was worried about getting in trouble with the law. You know, I've got a couple of kids, and the last thing I need to do is to get arrested for something as stupid as this. I kept it on the QT. I just, you know, people said, hey, can I do something on Facebook about this? I'm like, please don't, because I don't want to spread the word. And unfortunately or fortunately, a friend of mine kind of didn't really heed my advice and started...
Friends like that, you don't need enemies.
That's right. And he started sending out emails and making some calls saying, hey, do you hear what this guy on the Northwest Side is doing? And one thing led to another, and then Fox News Chicago called one morning and said, hey, we'd like to document live tomorrow morning you installing one of these pieces of pothole art. So it was one of these things where I went from kind of denying that I'd even done it, but as soon
Vigilante artist.
Right, and then as soon as the the TV lights shine on me, I'm like, sure, I'll do it. Yeah, where do you want me to show up? So
where's my makeup artist?
Right.
Well, what is like the process? I mean, do you lay? Because I mean, I know nothing about like how to create like your type of art.
A lot of people ask that question. It's funny. I've installed pieces. This has happened more than once where someone comes and they think I'm uncovering a piece of mosaic that was there.
Gotcha.
Like I'm some sort of archaeologist. No, I'm installing. This wasn't already there. The way that the process works, people also think that I'm actually making the art on the street, and that just couldn't happen because the art takes about 8 to 10 hours to do. It has to be relatively simple. 1, because I can't spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
2, I can't sell the art, so it's like I can't spend 50 hours on it, what I might do in a fine art piece on a piece of pothole.
I consider this fine art though, just to let you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe I'm not all that cultured with the art scene yet.
Maybe by the end of this interview it'll be very
cultured. Oh yeah.
The artwork's all done in my studio, actually right behind me here. And when it's completed, I put cheesecloth and glue over the top of it. And
cheesecloth?
Cheesecloth. Just this thin stuff that I put over the top of the art, and then I saturate it with white glue. And a day or 2 later, it's dry enough, and the whole piece comes up. So that the cheesecloth is what keeps everything together. So that's what I transport to the pothole site. So the installs are a 2-step process. I get there, I've got my serious traffic cones, block off the thing, clean up the pothole, sweep it up. I mix concrete right on site, pour it in, fix the pothole with the wet concrete, and then I slide the art onto the wet concrete, squish it in. It's about a 2-hour process, maybe 90 minutes. Then I pour hot water over everything. And what that does is it starts to loosen the glue on the cheesecloth. And then after 20 minutes or so, then I slowly start pulling the cheesecloth off because the glue has loosened. Mm-hmm. That leaves all the artwork in place in the concrete. Anyway, so then I let it go. And then I come back, usually the next day or 8 hours later, depending on what works. The concrete's now hardened, and then spend about half hour, 45 minutes with wire brushes and just kind of scrub it really vigorously. Okay. Clean it up, and it looks as pristine as it's ever going to look. Okay. So the last thing I do, which is a lot of fun, is I leave a goodie bag on the site. So this is a Glad sandwich bag that has like a pothole patch and a pothole sticker, a coupon from the store on my website. And a couple other things. I can't remember what. Oh, I do a little signed limited edition print of some piece of pothole art. And then I post that on Instagram and say, as I'm leaving the install, saying, hey, there's a new piece on Oak Street and Maple or whatever, And I say that the goodie bag is taped to a tree across from the install to the west or something like that. And they last about 20 minutes. Yeah. And then I ask somebody, whoever finds it, to please post a picture of them with it or whatever. Yeah, of course. And then it's about 20 minutes in the city. Someone will say, hey, I have a picture of it. So that's cool.
And we can begin to round things up with that, because that's like the fifth star. Like that's the things that I'm talking about when I say, like, the best in our city is ahead of us. It's here's this thing that everybody hates, but then comes along a Chicagoan, who sees this thing that everybody hates, that everybody's frustrated with, and says, let me turn this on its head. Right. Let me turn this into some art, and then let me leave a goodie bag to make someone's day even better. Yeah. I mean, I just feel like that's the sentiment that there's still enough people of in our city who say, I'm going to look at a problem optimistically. I'm going to look at a problem and talk about the solutions. But it's people like you. It's projects going on in our neighborhoods, and it's ideas, and it's this belief that Chicago's best is ahead of us, and it's people like you that are keeping us all optimistic.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's been a fun ride. Who knows where it'll go. It's great. You want your. I'm not 15, 20 years into it. It's just I'm not good at this. You want your strike to be kind of like very, I don't know, whatever that word is, vertical. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
What was that?
So yeah. Sorry. No. Like.
There's no explosion.
You can. I learned the hard way with like granite, which is you don't want to use because it's too hard. But I didn't know that at the time. I'm like, sparks would start to fly.
Yikes! Yeah. I think that was that timid thing that you talked about.
Right, but that is your first cut.
This one will be better.
There you go.
Now, there it is. Pro move.
So this kind of does this kind of whatever cyclical kind of motion, right?
Wow.
Okay. Oh, that's so. That's gonna be too small for that.
Yeah.
Like some big pieces you want to play with.
Look like sugar cubes. Yeah. Where do you get your materials from?
It's made in Italy, but okay. I used to order directly from Italy. It was kind of paying because you had to get bank drafts. It was a big pain. But there's two suppliers I use in the States that I get it from. I just go to tile outlet places.
Oh yeah.
There's one right on Fullerton.
So this stuff sticks.
Yeah, it's modeling clay that doesn't dry, which is awesome.
Now, what's next for you? Are you conquering potholes all over the planet?
Yeah, it's a costly proposition to do this with. It's costly, period. But if I want to spread the word in different cities or countries, then costs increase. And so usually what I do to expand my reach is I tack it on to existing travel I already have. If I happen to be giving a talk somewhere, I'll bring a piece of art with me to LA or San Antonio, and while I'm there for 3 or 4 days, I'll do an install. So that way, it's cost effective for me.
Got it.
Other times, I've partnered up with galleries that arrange for sponsorships, and so I'll go out. Like I went out to Philadelphia for a long weekend and installed 3 pieces, so that's another source of funding. And then also, I do an annual Kickstarter. So, matter of fact, I'm in the middle of one right now. Usually the Kickstarters are like an all-encompassing fundraiser for whatever I'm going to do that year. Yeah. In 2018, I'm focusing on a campaign specifically in New York City. So it's got about another 6 days left. But it's just to kind of go in there. I've got a fair number of followers in New York, and so I'm going to go in there and try and do 3 to 5 over a long weekend. So
awesome. And for anybody listening in, where do we find that Kickstarter? Is that just on your Facebook page and your website?
Yes, it's you can find a link on my Facebook page and my Instagram page, or if you just search the Kickstarter thing for pothole art, because pretty much the only pothole art.
You've got a monopoly.
Yes,
on that,
yes. There's not a lot of us out there, so you could find it that way.
Got it. You really cornered the market out there.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.